Assalamu alaikum, ninth standard. We have seen a measurement of matter last time. Now we will see acid, bases and salt. In this lesson we will learn the various types of the acids and bases and salts and their reactions, what they carried out. So basically we have learned from the fifth standard onward, and we have seen their various acids and bases. So what are the acids? We can you distinguish what is acid? Acid are sour in taste. What about the bases? Bases are in bitter in taste. So in the given list over here, lemon is acidic in nature. Tamarind somewhat. Baking soda, yeah, it's a base. Buttermilk, it's a acid. Vinegar, acid. Orange juice, acid. Milk, this one is, I left this one for you. Lime, tomato, milk of magnesia, it is a basic in nature. Water is neutral, it is not acidic nor basic. Alum, acidic in nature, or it is a basic in nature. Alum is in basic in nature. How can I classify this acid and bases? That we will see in subsequent lectures. Foodstuffs, usually they are sour to taste, are bitter and slippery, and they are soapy to touch. For example, sour to taste are the acidic substances, and then the basic, they are soapy and slippery to the touch. We have seen various methods to judge that whether it is acid and base. One of them is litmus paper. We use litmus paper as an indicator to indicate this solution is acidic or a basic. Next thing is a column given over here. Now I will help you to solve this column and fill some of them, and rest of them you have to do it by your own. First is HCl. You have to write the name hydrochloric acid over here. HCl, when it dissociate, means what? When it break down, it convert itself into H plus and Cl minus ions, and so it is called as an acid. So why it is called as an acid, I will show you after some time. Next is, what is this? What is this? What is this? You have to name it. HNO3. HNO3, when goes in water, it break down into H plus and NO3 minus. Okay. The substance on dissociation gives H plus ion or called as acid. And can you name the name of this acid? Okay. Can you name this name of this acid? This one is left for your homework, and I will show you a few names, and rest of them you have to search and let me know. Okay, or we will clear in doubt session. So name of all these acids you have to find out. Okay, search on internet and tell me. Next is HBr. HBr is H plus and Br minus. So forget about this basic radical and acidic radical, we will deal it later on. But for the time being right now, if it is H plus, then it is acid. Next thing is NaOH. This is Na plus OH minus. Whenever this OH minus came, okay, OH minus came, it is called as basic. It is called as basic. Whenever this H plus comes, it is called as acid. Whenever OH minus comes, it is called as basic. So KOH means K plus OH minus. So OH means what? It is basic. H plus means what? It is acidic. We will move forward. Now come to this point. This is NaCl, that is a salt. Okay, sodium chloride. It gives Na plus Cl minus. So when it is not giving H plus and OH minus ions on dissociation, it is called as salt. So this is also a salt, this is also a salt, and this is also a salt. You have to write the name of these all these elements, or we will discuss in our Q&A session, inshallah. So the substance which gives H as a basic radical in their molecules are called as acid. They are called as what? Acid. And the substance which gives OH as an acidic radical in their molecules, they are called as basic. What is this acidic radical and basic radical? I will explain later on. Next thing is that the substance neither give H plus ions and OH minus ions, they are called as salts. So salts are, they are not giving H plus ion, they are not giving OH minus ions. These are called as salt. Now the thing that over here is I have explained you earlier, but for the recap or for the revision purpose, I will explaining it right now. Okay. Ionic compound. How this ionic compound usually they do form? The ionic compound forms due to the what we have seen, that the sodium. Okay. Sodium, it is electronic configuration is 2, 8 and 1. It is donating its one electron to chlorine. Okay. And chlorine is electronic configuration is 2, 8 and 7. When this electron from over here comes to the chlorine and it get added to the chlorine, what is the new configuration? Sodium become Na plus, and the configuration of Na plus is 2 and 8, because it left the one electron, and this one electron come to the chlorine, and now the new configuration of chlorine is 288. Okay, now 288. So it is a minus ion. The positive ion, I earlier told you that it is called as anion. Positive, sorry, it is called as cation. It is called as positive radical is called as cation, or negative radical is called as anion. Positive radical is also called as basic radical. Positive radical is called as basic radical. Negative radical is also called as acidic radical. Negative radical is also called as acidic radical. So there is a force of attraction between this positive and this negative, and it form a bond. That bond is called as ionic bond. This bond is called as ionic bond. The ionic bond is formed between two ions. How this is formed? Let's see. In this example, you have to draw like this in your exams. See, this is Na plus. Its one electron is losing, and after losing it became Na plus, and this is a positive radical. Okay, positive radical Na plus. Okay, it is also called as cation. Okay, it is also called as basic radical. Now chlorine, after accepting this one electron from here, goes to the chlorine and it accepted, its new configuration became 288, and it is a negative radical. Okay, negative radical. And this, by combining all this step, we will get this, and the bond between this over here, this bond is formed, and that bond is called as ionic bond. And for your information, the ionic bond is very much stronger than any other type of the bonds present in the any compound. So up till now you have learned how the ionic bond is formed, and how the ionic bond is formed by the sharing of the one electron. One electron is sodium donate the one electron, and that one electron is accepted by the chlorine, and the bond is formed is called as ionic bond. And why this ionic bond is formed? To clear this concept, you must observe this thing. So sodium is having one electron in its outermost shell, and the chlorine is having 7 electrons. So they want to complete their octet, means they want to have 8 electrons in their last shell. So in order to achieve this, the sodium has to donate 1 electron to somebody else. So he donated that electron to the chlorine, and the chlorine accepted by free will, and its octet is completed. Now see, the Na plus is having a complete octet, and Cl minus is also having a complete octet. So there is a force of attraction between Na plus and Cl minus, and this force of attraction combines them, and now they become a compound of NaCl, and their bond that are joining these two compounds is called as ionic bond. Now we will say disassociation of ionic compound. On mixing of substance that is shown over here, resulting mixture solution, what this substance is called as. On mixing of the substances as shown here, what are the resulting mixture formed by mixing following substance called. So if you mix a solution, means water and salt, is the salt is get completely dissolved in the water? Yes. If we mix water in sugar, is it water dissolved completely in the sugar dissolved completely in the water? Yes. The next is water and sand. Is it possible to sand to get dissolved in the water? No, it's not possible, and the solution is not a uniform one. Okay, sand is just sitting down in the solution. Next is water and sawdust. Sawdust means dust of grass. Okay, it will float on the surface of the water. So in the third and fourth, sawdust and sand is not dissolving the water, and in case of a first and second, the salt and sugar, it get completely dissolved in the water. How this dissolving power of water help, and what they form the aqueous solution. Okay, aqueous solution of what? Salt, and aqueous solution of sugar. Okay, now how this solution is being formed. The solution is being formed with the help of water. How this water is helping to form this solution? Now concentrate over here. We have taken a water in a beaker, okay, and we are adding the NaCl into it. So in NaCl, if we closely observe, it is the Na plus and Cl minus. Okay, so Na plus and Cl minus. This Na plus and Cl minus, they are attached due to the due to the ionic bonds, and due to this ionic bond, they are attached to each other. Na plus sit very closely to the Cl minus. What happen if we add a water in it? The water molecule just go inside over here, and they break down their bonds, and these NaCl used to get separated, and they get liberated. Means now the Na plus and Cl minus ions are formed, and these Na plus and Cl minus, they are usually aqueous in nature. And now we will get a solution, that is clear solution of NaCl. That the thing is explained over here. When the NaCl is put into water, it get dissociated, and due to dissociation, Na plus and Cl minus will be formed, and that are in aqueous solution. This is how we are getting the aqueous solution of a salt and sugar. This is not the case in the with the sand and sawdust. They are just floating. So water helps to dissociate the ionic compound. This is the bottom line of all these things. So how these substances get usually dissolved, and how the acids and bases are formed? What are the definition of acids, and what are the proper definition of the bases? In order to do that, the Swedish scientist, whose name is Arrhenius, put forth a theory of acids and bases in the year 1887. And in these theories, he shows some definition of acids and bases. So what is an acid? Acid is a substance which on dissolving in water gives only H plus ions as a cation. They are called as acid. Means acid is a substance which on dissolving gives H plus ions, is called as an acid. And a base is a substance which on dissolving in water gives OH minus ions, is called as a base. So we are having HCl, that is hydrochloric acid. On dissolving in with water, the water goes inside it and break down H plus and Cl minus. So this H plus solution and Cl minus solution, we get a H plus, so it is an acid. Same is the case with H2SO4, hydrosulfuric acid. In hydrosulfuric acid, what happen? These H plus ions get dissociate with the water, and we will get H plus and HSO4 minus ions. So this is also an acid. HO4 on further dissociation gives H plus ions and SO4 minus 2 ions. So basically this is also an acid. Okay, so acid is a substance which gives only one cation, that is H plus ions. Okay, use your brain power. What are the names of the following compounds? This is a ammonia, this is a sodium oxide, this is calcium oxide. Ammonia, sodium oxide, calcium oxide. When of the above compounds are mixed in the water, they combine with the water and complete the following table by writing the ions formed by their combination of the water. What happen when we mix ammonia with the water? We will get ammonium plus OH minus ions. So we are getting OH minus ion. Okay, when this sodium oxide combines with the water, यहाँ पे आ जाएगा water, and it gives Na plus ions and OH minus ions. When calcium oxide combines with the water, it gives calcium plus and OH minus. Okay, calcium plus and OH minus ions. Into which type of you classify above compound? So all these compounds, they are basic in nature. They are basic in nature. All these compounds are, they are basic in nature. Now we will move forward. So base, what are base? Base are the substance which gives OH minus ions as an anion, is called as base. NaOH, CaOH taken twice, that is sodium hydroxide. This is sodium hydroxide, that is calcium hydroxide. Sodium hydroxide on dissociation gives, what happen in between Na and OH, water molecules get inserted, and this gives Na plus aqueous solution, OH minus aqueous solution. So we are getting OH minus ions. So when we are getting OH minus ions, these are called as bases. Okay, so these two examples of what? Bases. When calcium hydroxide, that is solid like a salt, and when we mix it with the water, we will get calcium ions and OH minus ions. Okay, so these are the bases. So what are the different types of acids and bases, and how they are strong and weak, that we will see inshallah on next lecture. If any doubt, you can ask me on my WhatsApp number. I will clarify it as early as possible. Allah Hafiz.